All right, folks, welcome to another episode of Sound Off with SLAMZ. This is going to be a very special episode. We're going to talk about the art of being a DHOL player, the DHOL life. It's not an easy life. So with me today, I got three of my good friends and amazing, internationally known DHOL players who have been A1 since day one. Start out, my man Raju and Mitch.
Yeah.
Mitch Hyare, you guys know him. And of course, my main man, you guys see with me every weekend, Sukhi Dholi. Also, thank you guys for coming on. We're basically gonna shoot the shit about playing the DHOL. Everybody thinks this DHOL life is easy. It's a certain way. It's a grind. It's been a grind since I started in the early 2000s. I think Raju's been playing since mid 90s.
Yeah, mid 90s.
I think I seen you first time playing in the 90s. You were like this tall, man. Mitch, I think I met you in 2000,
Yeah.
so
It was about the same time.
about the same time you guys started.
Yeah.
Sukhi, you started after all of us, so you get a little new blood with this guy right here. But when did you start?
I want to say 2008.
Yep,
Yeah, around
We're
that
all
time.
trained by the one and only La Singh Patti, so big shout out to our Staji. Hopefully, one of us could send him this and he could watch, but and he understands English, so he'll understand the whole thing. So Staji Satsika Thanu Jarur Asi Dikhaoge. But basically today we want to just talk about what it is to be a Dholi, and the challenges of, I know for me starting out, when I wanted to learn DHOL, it was a challenge to tell my family and say I want to do this, but it also in the later end, when they knew I was serious, it became very rewarding. And I'm sure you guys went through the same thing. So start introducing these guys, tell you how they started, why they wanted to learn DHOL real quick, and where they are now with it, because we're all kind of at different places. I'd say Sukhi and Raju are still very active. Well, I would say Sukhi is very active, Raju is active. And me and Mitch, we kind of went different ways, but we still have the love, and we still know the life of how it is and how it was being a Dholi, and the changes of being a Dholi from when we started to what it is today. It's a big difference. It's a huge difference in a good way. I mean, I think you guys, we've led the path. I think, when we started, for guys like Sukhi, Jag, Ashi, or all of the guys that are out there, to make a great living, but also do it on the side, whatever they choose to do. So we'll dive into that. We started doing parties in the early 2000s on DHOL, us three here, me, Raju, and Mitch. Sukhi kind of started later, but we'll talk about the changes then to what we see now, from the DHOL player perspective, from the person perspective. But yeah, it's going to be today's episode. So Raju, we'll start with you.
Yeah.
How'd you get started? Where are you at now with the DHOL, and what made you want to pick up the DHOL?
Sure, no worries. First of all, thank you, Ober, for having us.
Oh, man, my pleasure.
Especially, getting us together.
Yes,
I've seen these guys,
This is elite company right here. Yes.
Union.
This is awesome.
It's a really good union, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing us together,
My pleasure,
man.
my pleasure.
Yeah, no, I started back out in about 93, 94, around that time. I was about third grader, and, we were in elementary school, and we had a yard duty. She wanted to do, a cultural day for Indian kids. So she made everybody come and do Bhangra in the assembly hall. And everybody was shy, nobody knew what to do, everybody had their hands in their pocket, whatnot. She was like, it's not gonna work out like this. So when I began DHOL journey, or when I first saw DHOL, she called Lali Uncle, Ustad Dal Singh Patti ji. She called him, he came, and when I saw him play the DHOL, I was just inspired after that. That's what inspired me. And he taught us Bhangra, he taught us, how DHOL sounds, he taught us like what DHOL is supposed to be about. So, I just picked up from there, and from then on, my journey started at that time.
Dope. Where are you at today with it?
So today I'm with it, I'm still playing for gigs.
You're actually a sick ass DJ too.
I'm still playing at gigs whenever I get an opportunity to, I definitely still play. Wherever anybody calls me, I'm ready to come.
Dope.
I still play, I keep it as a passion,
Yeah.
and I try to learn as much as I can.
And you have a family now?
I do have
also a family man.
yeah.
I know a lot of people seen, me and Raju a lot off YouTube. When YouTube first got kicking in about 2006, there was two videos going around. There's you playing in a parking lot, me in a backyard, right? And it's good that you've kept the art going, because me and you both know, and I'm sure all of us know, there's guys who start that are big in it, and then you don't see them again.
Definitely.
So to go in this art from '93, I remember before I seen Lali Uncle play.
Yeah.
I seen you play at Omar's parents' anniversary.
Okay.
And they're like, hey, we got this Dholi, you got to see. I'm like, you know, I've seen the Dhol, I have a Dhol at home. Like, ding, ding, dong. Every Dholi, every guy who's I've come across said that they can play it. They can't play it. This was before I seen Lali play, right?
Yeah.
They bring out, at this time was this little kid in the kurta pajama, and they're like, Raju, they're clearing the way for him out of the huge gathering of people. Then Omar Harmon were like, chakade. And the way this guy hit the damn Dhol, man, holy shit. I was like, what the hell? I thought it was like Lightning Man or something, like just hit the building like, fuck. And then if anybody fucking sees Raju play, the way you play is different than any other Dholi, right? All of the guys here, right? But Raju, the power, the like you can, he plays so hard, so strong, and you can tell. The biggest thing I like about Raju is, people say he's powerful, he's this, but you can tell everything he's playing is coming from right here. Like,
definitely.
You used to think the Dodo used to want to like be way back here. You're like, holy shit, where's his arm going? It's like back here. I mean, the power that he used to bring to the table was just raw.
The thing is, that was 25 years ago. I seen him play a week and a half ago. It's the same shit.
The
guy's fucking unreal.
That's all your love, you know.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. You know, it's just the more you put your work into it, more hard work and more you practice you do into it. That shows when you play.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Especially your love for it. So definitely, you know, I encourage everybody, whoever's learning Dhol right now at this time, just practice. You know, make it.
100%.
Yeah, talking about learning, learning is easier than when we all started than now. Like I had a kid yesterday who was playing basketball. He was playing with me and he said, hey man, I want to learn. How did you learn? And his dad's like, well, can you teach him? I was like, I honestly don't have the time right now. But if you look up YouTube now, I had to drive an hour. When I started learning Dhol, I drove an hour to Roseville. Our teacher came on a Greyhound bus to Roseville, and I learned in this little sweaty room, probably as big as this, and just completely, it was a mess. But we learned. But now you could go on YouTube and there's guys like Simply Dhol who do a phenomenal job of teaching. If you really wanted to, you could probably find one of us to maybe teach you on Zoom. But we didn't have Zoom. Oh man.
There was none of that.
So when you brought up learning, that reminded me that anybody who wants to learn the Dhol, you have the opportunity. Just look it up. It's there in front of you. YouTube is everything, and there's good people. Only one I know off the top of my head is Simply Dhol. And the guy does his name, I know him.
Manbir
Hotti, right? He does a really good job teaching. So any youngsters that are into Dhol and want to learn, that's the place to go. I still go there to learn different pickups or breaks, and stuff. If I'm not learning from you guys, seeing you guys, I'm learning on there. So shout out anybody who wants to learn, that's the way to go. Mitch, you're up next. If you haven't heard of this guy on the Dhol, man, you've been living under a fucking rock. You're fucking, this guy I'll pump him up in a bit, but Mitch, go ahead. How did you get started? What made you want to learn, and where are you at today with it?
Yeah, man. So for me,
and a lot of people, before I start, I didn't mean to a lot of people ask me, can we get Mitch? And I'm gonna let you explain why it's so hard to get Mitch here at an event these days. Take it away, buddy.
I mean, look, I think with all of us, right, the music, that gene it runs through our blood, right? And for me, when I was a young blood, my dad was a DJ, he was a promoter back in the day. In England, growing up in England, Bremy, Hito, whatever, he would throw these elaborate shows and I would be on stage, on the side of the stage, watching these guys. So seeing that constantly, watching the videos, you used to have family get-togethers and you put in the videos, right, and you just sit there and put the jump down. They used to come on, used to be like, yo, that's sick, right? Right. And so for me, it was always there. My first birthday party, actually, Ustadji Lal Singh was there playing. So Aman Hair's dad used to have a band and Bhatti was there, and so seeing that, I think it just kind of grew. But I mean, it was a long time where we all thought, any one of us thought we could play, but until you found an Ustad who taught you how to perfect that, which was later in my life, and that's what really kind of then took me down the path of like, okay, let me have fun with this, right? It's fun playing, and then now it's like, let me join the competitions, and that's how we missed, right? It was by chance and fate. But where I'm at now, I mean, look, it's nobody, it's not shy or anything like that. I've just taken a back step. There's a lot out there. There was a lot of negativity, politics and things and all that type of stuff that would go on for sure, and I think you get discouraged from that. But really, at the same time, my path was really live performing with artists.
Right.
Instead of joining the wedding scene.
Right.
And I kept going down that path, loved it, and you know, here and there I'll still do the same thing, but yeah, just taking it nice and easy.
You're also a very busy family man. I know that for sure.
Disney family man.
Disney family.
Yeah. Family man for sure.
And the thing about when you pulled up to an event, it wasn't even like back when at that time, and I think maybe even if you still were in the scene, it wasn't like, okay, there's just another Dholi that showed up. It's fucking Mitch. Like, you know you're gonna get a show. You were bigger than the fucking DJ. Like, I remember like growing up and you're gonna see Mitch, you're gonna get this performance and the guy's gonna flip the Dhol, you know, behind the back, you know, like all kinds of new tricks. You really revolutionized it. You had the look, you had the hair, I remember just such a good looking dude, nice fit, and then the Dhols were just amazing. They were fiberglass. I believe they were like custom made by your dad. They were just, it was just a whole, like, you were like the Jazzy B of DHOL players, man. Like,
no, you know what it was, right? And we'll take it back, right? I mean, there's a lot of talent in this room. And I think let's not discourage the fact that a lot of what I did was because I saw a lot of other people doing a lot of talent. This guy's
right? Not taking away from anything anybody did,
and for me, it was always I wanted to do something different. And I think this is one of the reasons why we take a step back was, you know, everybody's trying to compare each other. You can't compare DHOL players. You shouldn't compare DHOL players. Everybody's got a unique style. What I brought in was a performance. So I wasn't a good DHOL player. I was a great entertainer.
Exactly.
And that's the way I classify it. It's just everyone else's definitions tend to kind of stick more than that.
Did you correlate your style with you being like a guy? Because I try to do that now. Like, I look at like, okay, when Mitch pulled up, dude, this guy had the fits, you know, like he was always trending. Like, I try to mock that off my DJ style, right? But I'm like, dude, this guy is just like, I've learned something from each one of you guys, right? But with you, I was like, badass talent, but the style was on point always. That's what I remember. So was that something you brought in, or was it just you? Because I know you're UK. You're UK born and raised, so like I know you blend out there. You guys got next level style of mix.
I'll represent West Coast. I'll represent California, but the UK side of it was always sort of there. And growing up, there was one individual that was, to me, was like a role model when it came to DHOL playing, and that's Johnny Carsey.
Oh yeah, so Johnny Carsey is just legend, bro.
That's where that cut sleeve comes in.
Hey, you have to start somewhere, right? But that's where it is, right? And seeing him and seeing what he could do, I was like, I can do that, and I would love to do that, and I want to do that. But I also wanted to take what our traditional side, which was what Buddy brought to the table, and let me bring that to the table. We mix it a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of people used to associate. You know, there's a thing called at that time. I don't know how it is now. Sukhi might know, but we'll get to Sukhi in a sec. But there's a modern Dholi, and they would say this guy's a folk Dholi. But when they compare you guys, like, I mean, we heard it all. Oh, Mitch is a modern Dholi, Raju's a traditional folk Dholi. Like, oh, this and that. A lot of people don't know you can actually play folk. I've heard it. I've seen it with a Bhangra team. So this guy can go both styles.
Well, that's where it started. Right?
That's where it came from. So I know
the Bhangra teams and stuff.
I remember I had a video of you guys playing together with Mulway Gidda, man. That video, I still have it. I'm gonna pull it out and I'm gonna post it somewhere.
Please do. Send it our way first.
Awesome. So that's why, maybe we'll get into it later, but all you people out there always asking me, can we get Mitch with you? He's here now. He'll maybe explain more in detail later, but maybe that's all you're gonna get. Who knows? Next up, Sukhi Dholi, man. Go ahead, Sukhi. When did you get started? You're probably the newest guy, the youngest guy out of us here. When did you get started? Why? And everybody, I don't think you have to say where you are now, because most of the listeners here see you with me, or my listeners see you with me every weekend. We gig together. So go ahead and give a little background how you got started. Why?
Yeah, I got started not too long ago, about 15 years ago, I want to say. Okay. And I got started because I want to give a person who's been a great role model in my life. His name's Amar Dillo from Fresno. He used to go to kabaddi competitions and stuff like that, played volleyball. And I was always around sports because all my cousins played. And the first time I was introduced to a DHOL was because of him. Yeah. Right? So he brought out the DHOL, he jammed out, and the first thing, I was like, man, I'm in love with this instrument. I got to get one.
Right.
And then I was always involved, like, in Bhangra shows. Like, there used to be a thing called Punjab Night in Fresno. I'm sure you guys remember that. And then that's when I got introduced to Bhatti Uncle as well, too, because he played for a team there. And it just led from there, one thing to another. I got started in the Bhangra scene, honestly, and then the first Dholi I ever danced to was no other than Raju right here. I remember when Raju came into our little studio that we had to practice, and he just busted out the Dhol, and I was like, wow, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so we had a few competitions where Raju played. I was dancing at the time, and then I was like, I gotta learn. I was like a young little kid. So I remember I used to drive from Fairfield where I'm now to Fremont where Raju was, and yeah, man, it just escalated from there. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then he got a little bit busy. And I was already introduced to Lal Singh Bhatti, right? Uncle Ji. So then I started going to Lal Singh Bhatti.
Gotcha. So
you as well too.
You started with Raju, ended up with Lal Singh Bhatti. That's awesome. So our roots are all the same. And where about are you today with the Dhol? Where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself doing it for a long time still, or I know a lot of younger guys that listen follow you a lot because you're really well known, very talented, just like these guys. And the thing about Sukhi is when Sukhi's what I noticed after seeing all three of you guys play, and like Mitch said earlier, everybody has a different style. I see a nice mix of you two in him, and I see him gig with you guys. When he's wanting to be power, I see him with like but then when he wants to be, when he's lit and wants to be, hype, he does the dun 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 dun.
Definitely
that was started by Mitch. So
there's trademark right there.
Yeah. So like I see both of you guys influencing him, which is amazing, right? So, what did you learn off of these two, them being your seniors, that influenced you and how you play and how you take the craft today?
It was different because I was so exposed to Raju in the beginning, right? So I got that whole Bhangra Dholi style, right? And then that's what kind of led me into playing, is because even before doing gigs, I started playing with Bhangra teams, right? And I was doing that for the longest time, even to this day, right? We'll get a team together and we'll go to a competition and compete. But during that time, it was around that time where YouTube would just have gotten introduced, so I was somewhat exposed to that too, watching you guys' videos, and then but also taking formal lessons as well too. Right. To where it just it just made me who I am today, and then the way I play and stuff. So But I can see myself doing this until my last breath.
I think that we all agree. That's all of us. Even if one of us aren't active like in events, like I think me and Mitch are probably the least active in actually at Dhol in events. I still play like every day. I don't know, Mitch, if you practice every day. You two I already know practice. I don't have to. You can ask, but you still play like every day.
And then that is practicing.
Yeah.
Right?
Practice, right?
I think every day it's fine tuning and learning and tweaking.
Something
it's not just let me keep playing the same thing. Let me have fun. And we improvise.
Right.
And I think that's what makes the greatest DHOL players is we just improvise and have fun the moment. Then you pick something else up off of it, right?
Definitely.
But yeah, man, it's still going on.
I remember, now we're talking about practice. I remember when I was active in Dhol, like I couldn't sleep most days unless I got 30 hour of practice a day. Like practice was so important to me because I knew like I had you guys, like, okay, man, I got to get to that level. Like these guys fucking motivating me. Like if I don't get an hour, I don't care who I piss off in the fucking house. Like I got to get my hour in. And so how big, and we'll start with you, Mitch, since you started that, how big was practice for you? So some of these younger guys who want to learn, because you can learn the Dhol easily. You can get the bowls, like we can probably all teach you guys one simple beat today in the matter, and you guys will pick it up because it's so simple within the matter of a minute, 2 minutes. Right. But the fact is, practicing is what it is. Like you can get lessons from the best Dholi, like Patti can teach us whatever. It's up to us to practice and get it down. So how much did you practice like on a daily level, Mitch, or were you kind of like OCD about it like I was?
I mean, there would be times where I'd be in school and the teacher would just be yelling at me because they would be on the desk.
I have no lie.
At home, right? We're not talking just practice. We're talking pacing and perfecting the hit. Right, every little, like when you think DHOL, right? I mean that every little hit had to have been perfected. Not too powerful, not too fast. Pace. So that consistency, and building it up slowly. I think that's one thing that people don't realize now. They just want to jump right in. I watched that video, so let me do it, and then they get it wrong, and they think they're doing it right. And look, I'm not going to say it's right or wrong, and it sounds great, but there is a right way of doing it. And so take the time to learn it right, slow down. But the biggest thing was, look, this was my best friend and my fiercest rival at the same time.
And it's completely healthy.
And that's what led us to be better too, because we would play on stage together, but they'd be like, we would motivate one another to continue to do better and to practice more You know, show each other the things, right?
So practice was a daily thing for you?
Every
How
single
long
day.
would you say?
Hours, 3,
Hour.
4 hours of just. If you want to talk about constant playing, if I was sit in front of a door, good hour or 2, right?
And then
Easy.
How was your, and we'll get into this more a little bit later, but how was your family when you practiced day? I mean, you get the normal, Vascara.
No, I'll tell you, my parents were the ones who pushed me for it.
Yeah.
Right? Because, and I think I'm in a unique situation
Yes,
where
yes.
they want that. We used to have jam sessions on Friday nights. You know, Mum would play with a keyboard.
Yeah.
Dad would obviously love
See,
the
yeah.
gym stuff. And we would just have fun, and they want me to play the door.
See, that's
you know, so.
awesome. If those of you don't know, Mitch's parents are just two, I mean, awesome people. I mean, we've all met them.
Right.
You know, honestly speaking, they have it different he had it different in the practice aspect from us because our parents are a little more desi, right? My parents are proper desi. Sukhi, I know yours. Raju, yeah. So with me practicing was always a struggle. Like, okay, like my dad, honestly, to this day, never told me to stop. But my mom, it would be a challenge, right? Like, oh, hun basgar, right? So that I think that level of practice, eventually she got used to it. Like, this guy's just gonna fucking play. Like, I'm not gonna even say nothing. You know, how was practice with you, Raju? Like, was it every day? I know you're still active practicing because I see your videos and you sound amazing. But you know,
thank
you're
you,
still
bro.
active in practicing every day. Or how was it in your peak practicing, and how much are you practicing now?
Definitely. I'll let you know from as a kid, man. When I was little, you know, just like kids play basketball at the park, it was like a thing for me. I had to play every day. I had to practice. And like you said, our parents, you know, we're very traditional.
Yeah.
My Thaya lived with us, and he was an army man. Dad was cool about it, but my Thaya was an army man. So every time I play, he'd be like, "I can't come for you know." And shut up, you know, like, "Kede kam much bag tu." And you know, my mom, same thing. Like, she'd be like, "Baskar hona, you know, Guandian, you know, Polsadal this and that, you know." But my dad, he's the one that saw Lali uncle, and you know, he's the one that got the toll from me from India.
Sick,
and not only got the toll, but he got this tape. And the guy, I guess his name is Shamlal from India, from Delhi. He's playing so fast in there, and he's like, "I like it, you know." And I listened to that. I'm like, clueless. Like, I'm like, man, don't even know how I can't do this. But you know, Amar, at that time, I didn't know what a good toll was. I didn't know what a good sounding toll meant. All I knew is that I remember Lali Uncle Ji teaching me Bhangra on those beats. So those beats would be in my mind, and I'd keep on playing them wrong. I just keep on playing them wrong. It could be Luddi, Tamal, you know, anything, Lariya, Kaila. Everything I would play, it would be wrong. But I kept on going. Just like basketball, if you miss a shot, you keep on practicing, right?
Keep
the same thing with toll.
Shoot, man.
I just kept on going. Slowly down the line, you know, like I started seeing other guys like Mitch.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and like he said, you know, like seeing him was motivating for me.
Exactly.
Because he had a lot of energy. And I was like, man, I'm not going to let this happen, you know? I got to be with him right there, you know? If not, so just like he said, man, like seeing all these other guys growing up, I got motivated more. You know, I'll just give you a little brief little summary. There's a guy named Tanoa. Surinder Tanoa, he did Punjab Night.
Jimmy's dad.
There's a video.
We met him a few weeks ago.
I was telling you, like, this guy is the one that taught me a lot as well. So Surinder Tanoa Uncle Ji, you know, he saw me playing. He saw me playing the beats. I didn't know the names. He taught me the names, and he brought me into a show and stuff like that. And just slowly down the line, I just kept on going, practice. And like, you know, like my buddy here said, you know, just keep practicing, you know.
How many hours a day? How many hours then? How many hours now?
I would come home from school like 3:30, you know, as a 4th grader, 5th grader, 6th grader, you know. Maybe at least like an hour and a half. And then, you know, eat roti, have fun in the park, come back, and then still play a little something before I go to sleep. And then in school, you know, throughout the day, I would just have those things in my mind. Like, you know, toll pe aaya kare main kare jaake ino main bajauna aaya.
It's weird, like if you're a tolli and you have a toll in your house somewhere, or if you go somewhere and there's like, you go to like a Purana's house or like go visit, they have a toll, you have to play it, right?
You were the trophy. Get on
you have to go there, you know. Like, if it's one in our house, just think like that shit runs in our blood. We have to hit it. Like once you get one beat down, you're just like, oh, I gotta play. I gotta play. Even if it's a person who knows one beat.
Definitely, man.
Definitely. So practice, important. Sukhi, your turn. You're still practicing actively. I know you. I see your videos. You send them to me all the time. How much do you practice when you start? How much do you still practice?
When I first started, man, I used to, you know, practice with Raju all the time, right? We used to go maybe sit at Mission High School in Fremont, sit there for like 2-3 hours, right?
That one high school, right?
I
think I've even been there. I live in fucking the Penda and Yuba, but I've even been to that high school.
So we practiced like 2-3 hours, and I'd still go home and, you know, just keep it fresh in my mind so that way tomorrow when I go to school, I'm not forgetting about it, right? So had to be like 2-3 hours a day. And then when I slowly transitioned into Bhangra teams, I mean, our Bhangra practices, you know yourself, everybody knows, they're like 3-4 hours anyways.
Yeah.
And one thing that I remember Raju told me was like, hey, je tu 10 to 12 minute Bhangra bhi you should have like 30-45 minutes of practice of stamina, right? Because when you're on stage, you're leading everybody. You're leading the guys, you're leading the singer. Every instrument that's there, you're leading everything.
You're the main heartbeat.
I mean, this too, solo DHOL playing along with the Bhangra team is one of the most toughest things.
If you don't know, if you think, playing with a DJ is tough, but playing with the live Bhangra team. So basically this means when the Bhangra team is just strictly with a singer, Dholi, Lagoje, sometimes Tumbi, which is bare roots, raw, folk style. That is the fucking hardest thing to do. Like I remember I've been on stage before, practiced so much, and when I get on stage I play so hard, like in the first minute, the next 30 seconds I feel like I'm gonna pass out. It's so hard. So those live Bhangra teams that Dholi's there, man. I think all of us have done it here. It's another level, man. It's so, but the adrenaline, the pump, the love for it really makes you keep going because the crowd's reacting, the dancers are going, and bitche, we love Bhangra ourselves, so it's right here. So a lot of heart that goes in that, but it's so hard. Definitely one of the challenges of being a Dholi is playing with live Bhangra. We don't have competitions enough here, I think, to where we're not like India guys where they're playing every week and their stamina is just unreal.
Different festivals are going on and stuff.
So if you are a part of a live Bhangra team or you know someone who's a part of a live Bhangra team, appreciate them because that shit is no joke. Music, not taking away from that, from the DHOL aspect. As Dholis, we know playing with music is not as challenging, near as challenging as playing live, and we've all done it. We've all won competitions. So definitely appreciate a good live Dholi on a live Bhangra team for sure. Speaking of the challenges of a Dholi, that's one of the challenges of being a Dholi. I know for me, I when I first wanted to start, I went through so much of saying, hey, I want to learn the DHOL, and telling my parents I want to do this, being 15, 16 years old. It was tough. Like at that time, I think it's easier when someone like you started, but I know when one of us three started, particularly mine in your situation, Raju, at that time, it was tough. Mitch, like your parents are into music. I think it was easier for you.
But it was still an element of like, look, where's the priorities, right? Don't let this change who you are. Don't let it change your attitude. And don't let it change what your goals are in life, which was the studies as well.
Right.
Once those things took a hit, or if they ever took a hit, then it's like, okay, we need to rebalance and reshift. And maybe it's cut back on DHOL, maybe it's cut back on going out and hanging out with these guys, going to the Midland and stuff like that. But there has to be consequences too, and you have to realize that DHOL is life, but it's not really life.
No, it's not.
It's a hobby and it's passion.
It could be a big part of our lives because we love it so much, But I remember, I'll go through a story of mine. I remember when I started, it was a hurdle to get my family on board. I think they thought, oh, this is just a phase he's going through, probably like all of us. And little did they know, 20 years later, I'm still doing it. All of us are. But one thing that sticks out in my mind is I, and you guys can go through this. One really low point was I had a cousin who was learning with me, and his dad actually, how our parents all talk, and trickles down to you like, hey man, we don't want him doing this because this is a different caste work. And I'm like, I never even would think it's a fucking instrument. Like we took violin classes in school growing up. Like, how do there still some people who think like that? Was like my ultimate low. I'm like, dude, people think like that. Like I never thought like that. So
let's be real on this, right? I mean, and what it comes down to, there's a time period where fine arts was frowned upon in our culture. It doesn't exist. Yeah, everybody did it. Everybody danced. There was art. There was music. It all happened. Nowadays, look at it. It's shifted. There's more videographers, YouTubers, music producers.
It's all through art.
It's everywhere. It's all through art. It doesn't define who we become. It defines what our passions and our hobbies. It allows us to express ourselves. And that's what it began as. It began as a way for me to express me on stage, right? On how I play, and I just loved it. You talk about the feedback on the crowd. That's what fed us. You see someone smiling, you're like, I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for them. I want to see them smile more. I want to see that kid dance, right? That's what it was always about.
And that's what I seen it at this 15-year-old kid. I see this uncle of mine who's probably at that time in his 30s, and saying, like, oh, I'm going to pull my kid out because he's here to get an education. He's not going to do this shit. It goes with a different caste. I'm like, wait, who said I'm not going to fulfill the rest of my goals? Like, I'm going to go through college. Like, I'm going to get a job. This is not going to be me, like all the way. you know, I mean, I'm gonna do other things, but why can't someone do both?
Exactly,
You know, like
exactly,
at that time, I think it's the mentality of it, and then the most rewarding situation was, here I am, 3 years after that, the same uncle says, "Hey, take my kid back. He's getting into the wrong shit." You know, because and that was to me the biggest fulfilling thing was like, okay, I gotta take this to another level, because that meant like the whole thing to me, like, okay, that was one thing that put me down about it, but it brought me up, like, and it's just that they see mentality, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
And that's probably my biggest low. I mean, I performed on lots of stages with you guys. We went to DC together. Me and you've been everywhere. Raju, we've done so much, but
gigs, yeah.
I've done so many highs. But when I got that, when he messaged or talked to me, pulled me aside and said, "Hey, take my son back to this art, because what you're doing is good, and he's getting into the other shit," and I fucked up when I said that to you. That to me was like, okay, that was my biggest high of playing DHOL. Like, that's the biggest compliment anybody could get us. And you guys know we get so many compliments as DHOL player, but I want to hear from your guys' side. Like, you know, what's your biggest down that you've gotten through the cultural side of being Punjabi and this becoming, you know, this is a thing in old people's minds that it's a different caste does this. This is this person who does this. People like us, we don't do this, but these people do this. You know what I mean? Yeah. What's your biggest low and kind of like high, like what I had? Because I mean, everybody knows pretty much all of us as good fucking DHOL players now.
Right.
Right? Like, you guys have all put a huge impact on a lot more people's lives than you guys think. Than you guys ever imagined. But like, I know, like I heard it, like, yo, Mitch was this guy. He just brought me into the scene. Like, you, not many people, you probably don't know how many people you just got speaking Punjabi by you hitting the dada. Same with you. Right? So what's your biggest low and high, you know, like?
Yeah, you know, I heard
and this is like a proper struggle of a DHOL player, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like when I was younger, maybe like in high school days, you know, I heard a lot of people, like when I was playing at a gig, like somebody would randomly say like, you know, tu DHOL bajna, you know, to connect, like study kar liya apni, finish kar liya apni, and I used to be like, you know, I'm still going to school. It's not that I'm just playing DHOL.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I would hear people, like some random people coming to me, some uncles would be like, "Munda PhD hoye ja masters hoye na, phir badhiya lagda DHOL bhi aunda." And I'm kind of like,
makes perfect sense.
That makes sense, you know. So I've heard like a lot of things similar to this growing up, you know, while playing DHOL and stuff like that. And obviously from like rishtedar and all that kind of stuff, you hear them like, "Nahi, ye mangte da kaam hai hai, aida nahi karna." You know, this is like stuff that people know in India. You know, that to ask for money, "Jab bazigar da kaam hai, tu bazigar thodi hai." You know, I'd hear this kind of stuff, and that would just kind of motivate me to just kind of build myself to be better.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, just like, no, you know, I know if you guys have that mentality, that's fine.
Yeah.
But this is my passion. I love doing this. I'm gonna do this as a hobby.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, man, people they love to judge.
Oh
you know,
yeah.
they're quick at judging before.
Yeah. I feel like the level of when we started, we were judged more than these guys.
Definitely.
Right? Like it was like, yeah, and then. Mitch, you, like, I know you probably have several freaking stories because you were like just an out of the box DHOL player, bro. Like, I mean,
I was frowned upon.
Yeah, I mean, I never seen anybody. Everybody I've known that met you, they're like, "Holy fuck, who is this guy?"
Yeah.
Like, wow, like, you know. But I'm sure you heard. We don't know the brute end of it, so
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I mean, the feedback's amazing to hear now when you think about it all. Because we didn't go into it with the intentions of wanting to make that level of an impact.
Right.
We just went into it doing what we did and what we loved.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think think about that, the worst moment I've had was when I was booked for a gig, and this is part of the reason why you want to talk about why I don't like doing weddings and gigs and barats and stuff, was I was called afterwards, and because they found out that my hair was cut, and they found out that the way I dress and what I did on stage, they were like, "Oh, we don't want you there because you're going to influence certain members of our family, and we didn't want that." And I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
Like, you wanted a DHOL player. So one, I didn't classify myself as a DHOL player, I was just an entertainer.
Yeah,
so I'm here to entertain. If that's a problem for you because of the way I look, then this isn't the type of crowd that I want to perform for. So
100%.
guess what? You're losing out, not me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Another time was when, you know, when I first started, I never did this for cash. I never did it for money.
Right.
I mean, I remember people calling and being like, "Hey, can you come to Fresno?" My dad would help me in the car, we would drive down, we would play, and I would walk away, and, you know, aunties give you a hug, and they'd want to give you something, you'd be like, "Look, I'm just doing this because I want to do it."
Yeah.
This isn't about that, you know. And I remember one gig when someone just angry, right, just took the cash and just like threw it at me. And I was just like, what the hell is this? Like, this is not how you treat people.
No.
You know, treat people with some respect.
Yeah.
But when you think full circle and you say like, where's the high? To say, okay, yeah, the way I looked, what I was doing, you know, that was frowned upon. But then to be told, you know, by some big people like, wow, you're amazing.
Yeah.
Just to hear that, right, from someone who's, you know, bigger name or whatever it is, right? To hear that, you can turn around and say all of that was worth it because it made me who I am now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So there's your high, there's your low, and there's you guys' reason why he doesn't want to do events anymore. No, I get it. You know, and I get it. Like, it's crazy how much ahead of the curve you were. Like, look, we're talking early 2000s. You're coming, you didn't even know it, but you're coming as a gimmick. Now it's like me, where I'm trying to like, you know, I'm actually doing the same thing. Like, hey, I'm gonna go. If you don't like the way I am, dress, DJ, don't fucking hire me.
My thing was I wanted to build a brand.
Yeah,
Right?
and you were way ahead of the curve. You know what I mean? That's just amazing. Sukhi, I've probably been there with you with some of these, but if you don't know, Sukhi's my main, him along with Jag are my main DHOL players I take with me to my events, and they're just fucking awesome. Shout out Jag, he probably would have came here, he probably would not wanted to be interviewed, he probably want to sit right here, but I know he likes to sleep in, so I didn't want to bother him this early, because we're about 11 a.m. Jag, and I know you're not waking up about another 2-3 hours.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but yeah, go ahead, Sukhi. We've probably been in together, but let's hear your stories. Same thing, what's your highest, you know, the highest high feeling, the lowest low feeling you got?
Pretty much, I mean, Raju and Mitch nailed, right?
Yeah.
I kind of went through similar situations, you know, showing up to events, starting with the family first. That's the main thing. They were like, right? And my parents were always supportive of me playing sports. Right? Raju probably knows, you know, as well too.
Yeah.
I was really played high school football. Then I picked up field hockey, right? And I actually went and tried out for the junior national team. Right. I was supposed to go back the next year, and my dad was like, to a certain point, he was like, do one thing or another. He's like, if you're gonna go full blast hockey, you go hockey. If you're gonna go full blast DHOL, do DHOL. Right?
Which makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Which made sense. He's like, put your effort into it, but still at the same time, he was like leaning more towards sports. I wanted to go to sports, and then obviously got a DHOL, started practicing on my own, and then they would be like, don't play at the house. Don't be the one. Right? We're trying to sleep in or whatever. But then we have family events coming up. They're like, I was like, yeah, right? So in a way, they were supportive of that too, but not 100%. But think about it now. It's like, I'm glad I made the decision I did. And I still play field hockey. It's not the thing, but I'm more passionate about this art than I am about that art.
Right.
And so I think for me, that was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And then went to like a certain curve. They saw me going full blast with this, and then they're more supportive.
Yeah, right.
Even now, like my mom will still joke about chalan, dol jaake chalan, like yeah, jana hi hai, right?
Yeah.
And then come back home, she's like, "Na roti pani kha liya, you want to eat, you get your rest, kal nu bhi jana hona chahiye, kal nu bhi jana," right? So
sometimes I wish like I know Mitch, your parents probably totally get it, but I wish sometimes we could take our parents with us. Yeah. And they can just see what we do, because I know your parents already know. Like they can imagine they were there, right?
Yeah.
But our parents, like, it was like different. So like I wish they could come and see that we just don't go like dig around. We go to get shit done,
right?
You know, we work our ass off. You know, and
definitely.
like I think a lot of youngsters out there are probably feeling the same thing, getting it from their parents. But parentals, if you're out there, I know there's a young generation of parents. You guys are gonna have kids, you got your kids are older than mine, obviously, but you're gonna have the support that we did. So you guys see the challenges of our generation, but yeah, I mean, this is going back early 2000s to now, where now I think these guys have a whole different avenue than we did starting. I mean, we still have it, right?
It's okay. I think it was harder for you guys now, right? Because I mean, look, in our time there was Bhangra competitions all the time. There were parties every weekend. There were gigs all the time. I think now it's harder to have that opportunity to show people like, this is what I do. Now it's okay, let me put a video up or something like that, and then some parents can be like, why are you throwing a video? What's the point of this? They don't see the impact of what that does, right? So a lot of respect to this new generation of being able to just continue to hustle, to continue to do, because it's tough. It's tough. It's harder.
The scene today is crazy. I don't know how you guys did it, because I always lived in Yuba, where we didn't have as much going on as you guys were kind of in the Bay. You still are in the Bay. So I'm in Yuba. You guys are pretty much you classify as the Bay. You guys all classify as the Bay. But I don't know how it was in the early days, where you would have maybe a broth in the morning, reception at night. But now YouTube being active, dude, I've seen this guy knock out 4 or 5 events
Yeah,
in a day.
yeah,
It's insane.
he's
Like,
like,
I'm like, dude, like my heaviest day as a DHOL player, I'll tell you guys right now, was in 2010. It was the Midla day, right? Yuba City Midla. So that day I played with 3 Pangra teams. I got ready as juniors with my coach. 3 teams there. Then I had my own Manway Gidda team, right?
Wow.
Then I ended up playing with Sarji Chima and KS Makran. Okay? And at night I went to a reception. And then I knocked that out. After that, Sarji Chima guys called and said, hey, we're going to another reception. Can you come here?
My God.
So I was like, that was done.
Yeah.
But that was one time. That was one time.
Yeah.
These guys are doing that. I don't know. I can't speak for you, but I'm sure you have. But I've seen him do 5 events, 4 events in one day.
This guy's
like,
active. Yeah.
So like, what do you guys think? It's really good for you guys.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
only financially, but you guys are staying busy. You know, you guys are being
right.
productive. And like, what do you guys think is a shift? I mean, was it like that for you guys? Because I know it wasn't for me, but I lived in Yuba. You know, Yuba
This guy
City.
was always busy.
Yeah, a little bit, somewhat. That time it was more like promoting, like showing people like, dude, Viete Bajda California Bajda tool, you know?
Right.
So check it out, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like same thing with Mitch, like he had his own style, I had my own style, right?
Yeah.
But like our thing was about presenting.
Yeah.
So people would see it, they're like, oh, that's cool. So we'd get booked again.
Yeah.
Like maybe on the same weekend, somebody like, oh yeah, my cousin's having a party, come tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that time we weren't like super booked.
We were
but we were
swamped.
booked though. But we would get booked mostly like
Word of mouth.
word of mouth. There you go. Yeah, word of mouth.
Yeah. Understandably, there's no social media, but now
Yeah.
there's like a brand. He has his brand. You have
Yeah.
your brand. Mitch, you still have a brand more than you even freaking know, right?
Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
you could jump back in if you wanted to, just
100%.
like
Oh, yeah,
this. And that's all
100%, yeah.
choice. But the crazy thing is, the volume of the events they can do compared to what I see then is just unreal. So it's a really
Yeah.
good future for, there's a really good scene and a future for DHOL players that are wanting to come up. If you're thinking about this is something you want to do, it's there. Don't do it for the money, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you put your heart and soul in it, that'll come. And
But there's
Yeah.
a way
For
around
sure.
it too, right?
Yeah.
And I would say that each of these new DHOL players coming out that are trying to build this career, you nailed it on the head of saying don't do it about the money,
Yeah.
but set a brand, be
Right.
unique.
Yes.
Don't just, the thing I hate the most, right, is, and y'all see it all the time, is, oh, I'm a DHOL player. It's like, oh great, you're gonna play, you go up, you give props
Yeah.
at a party or something,
Right.
and they stand there and they play, and you're like, yo, what the hell are you
Exactly,
doing, bro?
yeah,
I see
Like,
that.
Yeah.
or they're just playing, they hear a song, and then they're playing to this song, and they start doing like, 50 back-to-back luggies, and you're like, yo, bro, like,
Yeah,
how is somebody supposed to dance to this, right?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
think about that a minute
Yeah.
of build a brand, be unique, but remember you're an entertainer. You're
Right.
an added element to something, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, like,
exactly,
for me,
yeah.
when I had started, right, I was an added element to Sukhi, BPL, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he elevated my performance
Yeah.
skills. So, everyone now needs to understand that that's what we need to do, right? Is take your time, build it up, slow down, and practice, and really be unique as much
Yeah,
as
definitely.
possible.
I want to add to that. You know, like a lot of guys I seen, I'm pretty sure Sukhi's seen it too. A lot of guys learn a couple of beats off of YouTube,
Cool.
right? And then they go and play. And I'm pretty sure you can tell the difference,
Oh,
you know, from
right,
somebody
right,
that,
right.
okay, yeah, I can play chal, right? Sare chal bhi aande. But there's a, like he said, there's a unique way. You have to build your own, you have to be in your own lane. You have to be unique from everyone else. We can all play chal,
Yeah.
but there's something unique about this guy, the way he plays it. Some kind of technique that I
Yeah.
do that makes it different. Something different that this guy does. He can put energy in it.
Yeah.
He can add some kind of sweetened
Yeah.
touch to it
Yeah, yeah.
that makes it sound like somebody wants like, oh yeah, bahut badhiya bhi honda
Yeah,
hai.
yeah,
You know?
there's-
So there's different elements in each of our beats.
Piggybacking off of that, I think what Mitch also said as well too, it was somewhat of a struggle because back then YouTube was just coming out, but I still had enough passion where I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go and physically properly learn
Yeah.
before you start to earn.
Yeah.
Right, earning's
Yeah.
out of the question here,
Yeah.
but we did it because it was so much passion. And had I not had that drive to get off of school, go to work, then go practice, come home, do it, repeat every single day,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have been that way. And then
Right.
especially now, it's like kids that are younger than me that are playing phenomenal DHOL players, I feel like they're more exposed to social media where now you can see other DHOL players, see what they're doing, and that helps them elevate as well too. But during that
Yeah.
time, it was that struggle of still having to go formally learn,
Yeah.
right? Because it wasn't like Raju's gonna Zoom me at that time
Yeah.
or FaceTime me
Yeah.
or something, right? And it's different from what you're gonna hear in person than what you're gonna hear through a video.
Yeah.
You know,
Or
so
yeah. Some people like they love to say like self-taught. Self-taught bhi ho sakta banda, right? Like I told you that when I was a kid I heard a tape, right? My dad was like this guy. But I recognized it totally. His name was Shamlal from
Yeah,
Delhi, right? you have to give recognition to somebody you heard or somebody you've seen.
100%, yeah.
Like just see Bhangra video they came in India though, right? We see a bunch of Tolis in India tearing it up on stage with Bhangra teams.
Yeah.
And like we'll see Tolis out here playing stuff that they played on that stage or at a party, and then you ask them like, oh yeah, that was really cool, man. Where'd you learn that from? Like, oh yeah, I'm self-taught.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
somebody
Give credit where
has to
Someone
see
still has an
somebody
influence on you.
to
Yeah.
have an influence on you to be able to keep going or like to promote that beat that somebody did. Like if Mitch, he plays behind his back. Today I know at least 5 or 6 Tolis that do the same thing.
Right.
And if they say, oh yeah, I used to do that in high school. No.
I've only seen one guy do it.
Right.
Yeah,
I've
so
still
one
only seen you do it.
that definitely has done it, you know. Before you.
So we gotta make that happen.
You know? Or even Lali uncle, he flips a toe on his go down and does the tilli ala pasa, right? Mitch does that too.
First person I seen do that was Mitch too.
Yeah. So
Credits due.
Yeah, so
I learned that
he's
from
seen it
him.
somewhere.
Yeah.
He told
Now
me.
people see him doing it, and people do it too. And you ask them like, hey, oh yeah, man, I can just flip. Sometimes I see that and I flip the daga side over and I start doing something the daga side.
There was one time, right? I remember we were like, let's do something different. We put the dugga like side by side, and we tried to do this like back to back thing. We
Yeah,
did like some crazy drum.
Yeah.
It didn't work with nothing, but it was an attempt, right?
It's an attempt, right? Yeah.
But we don't forget where it started.
Yeah, where you saw
Exactly
something
right.
at, or what
Yeah,
influenced you to flip your toe, right? Or like
talking about being different, and me and Mitch were talking about this before you guys got here, but I kind of feel like in today's industry, the toll has kind of become like a poster on the wall, like at an event. Like it's like, oh yeah, the Toli's gonna be there and he's gonna play with the music and then he's gonna go home. Like this is where I really think, like where I would want to see to go is where toll players got together and created some type of group in UK style, because in Cali I think that would do really well.
Do you remember what we started?
Yes.
Yeah.
What
And we were
did- what-
super successful for the
Yeah.
short time we were
But
there.
why did we do that? We didn't do that because we just wanted to create some crazy group, right? Lethal Totalies was about bringing the best together to unify something, to do something successful together. Going back to your point, right? It's like, I think nowadays there's too much competition. There's too much me, right? I'm self-taught. I'm all this stuff. Look, together we can do some amazing stuff.
Right.
And then there's no reason why you can't be a brand or you can't be a brand. I can't be a brand. But together we're something huge and big, and we support one another. We elevate this whole thing called, Punjabi entertainment or our culture. We elevate it together.
Right.
If we keep trying to do this, individually, and everybody wants to be a chief, then what are we doing? We're just gonna pound down on one another, gonna hate, right? And we're gonna hold ourselves back. And that's one of the biggest things I think today's society, today's kids, right? If they just want to be that dude on the poster, I want my name on this.
Yeah.
I've done this mixtape or whatever, right?
Right.
And it's a waste of time if that's what you're trying to get into it for.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Have
Right?
fun, yeah.
I mean, that's what I mean. Like, the biggest thing, the other thing was going back was, look at rappers. What do rappers do? Rappers don't just get in front of a mic and spit.
Yeah.
They practice.
Yeah.
They have routines.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And as a DHOL player, one thing I recognize for you, I mean, you've posted how many videos of you showing unique styles of, your introductions to how you start playing DHOL and whatnot.
Right.
I mean, people don't do that.
Yeah.
You crafted that.
Yeah.
You said, let's build this beat. Okay, let's add this beat to this beat.
Yeah.
And let's make it all together.
Right.
Like, that's how you build a brand. That's how you become good and great. Do something about it. Don't just go in front of the DHOL and start playing, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna fail.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the biggest thing, the biggest difference, the craziest thing actually is, we're talking, if those don't know, Lethal Totally was a group Mitch started back in early 2000, and he started with BPR crew, Sukhi Dholi, and it was just a whole vibe. Like, we weren't together for very long because we kind of went our separate ways with school. We were all students at that time, but for the impact we had was large, and I'm surprised that 19 years later or whatever it is now, there still hasn't been another DHOL group.
No.
And not just in Cali, but kind of in America. I'd say in Canada, Raymond guys, they did a great job, but as far as USA, it was just us.
Yeah.
I mean, DHOL groups, there was DHOL Foundation would always be around, right?
Yeah.
But the group members would always come and go, and everybody would want to be successful in their own way. And there's smaller groups, right? 2, 3, 4 DHOL players, or I'm an academy, or I'm a DHOL group that performs at a reception or something. But we're talking about real entertainers, and I think that's what the element we brought to the table. I mean, look how many times we were a guest to this Bhangra competition, and what did we do? We just performed. We didn't do anything great. But our movement, our togetherness, right? The look, the feel, it was impactful. And what it did was elevate that experience. Everybody walked away being like, yeah, that was hype. I was pumped for the next performance.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Just like if you go to a concert now, something like that, you have a pre-opener, if you're going to usher, if someone's
That's
opening
all
for
it
you, you're gonna be
was.
like, oh yeah, I'm
Someone
hyped
younger
for
like
usher.
me, that's exactly what that did, right? It was
Yeah.
like watching you guys perform.
Yeah.
It just brought it to a whole different element to what the DHOL is, in my perspective,
Yeah.
right? Whatever I may be thinking, but that made me want to practice even more,
Right,
and not necessarily be what you guys did, but build like your own brand and elevate from there, pretty much, right?
But it's
Lito
support-
Dholi's inspired like a lot of
A
people.
lot
Yeah,
of people,
a
yeah,
lot,
yeah, at that time.
Inspired a lot of kids.
But,
Yeah.
but it's provided support for one another too.
Mhm.
Like, so
Yeah.
if I had a gig that time and I knew I wasn't going to do it, like I knew I had someone on my crew that I can call and be like, hey man, you want to
Right,
support
right,
you in
right,
this,
right.
you know?
Yeah.
But that's missing today.
Right.
There's too much.
That's true.
It's too many individuals that want to be the best.
Yeah.
Too many individuals that just don't know the history, don't know how to do it right, that want to be the face.
Well,
Stop trying to be the face.
Yeah.
You succeed more by being on the
You
back end.
being you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
if you're
exactly.
gonna be you, be
Yeah.
original. You know, that's it. I mean, that's one thing I've always done is follow your heart. Who gives a shit?
Be
Whatever.
humble.
Right.
You go
Yeah.
up, you go
Right,
down.
right.
You're still gonna be liking what you do.
Yeah,
You're gonna be
exactly.
happy, right?
Exactly.
Just be happy, be humble, right? That's the thing. What's the biggest, Raju, Mitch? I don't know how involved you are with the wedding industry scene now compared to when you were gigging heavy. I know us three are obviously. I can tell you what I see different from the whole wedding industry and DHOL players and whatnot from early 2000s when I was playing DHOL with you guys to now where I'm a DJ. You're a DJ. You know, you're with me every week. Mitch, I think you probably keep up via social, been to a wedding here and there.
Yeah, social.
But what do you guys see as the biggest difference in the wedding scene correlated with DHOL from then to now? I mean, it's a big difference. It's a
Yeah,
show.
big time.
Like literally the
Yeah.
DJ has taken over. I mean, I'm not saying that because I'm a DJ. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no,
But back then, we would go somewhere and like if someone knew Mitch was coming to a wedding like in Yuba, they would crash to go see
Right.
Mitch.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we
Yeah.
heard Mitch is
Right.
coming. We're gonna go. Just
Yeah.
to crash. I mean, what do you guys see? Start with you, Raju. Like you're still in the scene. You've been in the scene probably longer than all of us.
Yeah.
In parties, like what do you see the difference between now and then in the wedding?
Definitely, I see a big difference in the way you get hired.
Yeah.
Before it used to be the parents
Yeah.
used to hire you. Now, it's the bride and groom or it's the DJ package.
Right,
And we
right.
obviously know that, right?
Yeah,
Like, we'll
yeah.
say, you guys get a totally or whatnot. But that time, people used to actually look at the person who's playing.
Yeah.
They'll ask you like, oh, totally going out, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we want Raju, we want Mitch
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
to be there
yeah.
at that
100%.
time.
Yeah, yeah.
It used to be like that.
100%.
And parents used to call.
Yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah.
their chachi or tai used to call and they'd
Now
be like,
it's,
huh,
electric,
wait,
yeah,
we want to
yeah.
make sure you're there.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
kind of thing. So that's a big difference now. A lot of kids that play today, that do come with the DJ package, people don't really know who the Toli is
Yeah,
or
yeah.
what his skill level
Yeah,
is, at
still
that
love it.
time.
I'm really picky about who goes with me.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely,
I'm
definitely.
I can like another piggybacking on that. Like someone plays, even if I see a video or see them live, I think all of us can say that in the first 30 seconds of seeing them play, we can see what level they're at.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
Fair to
Right
say.
when they walk into the
Fair to
hall
say.
and
Yeah,
they're
fair to say.
playing and
Fair to say, right?
you see
Like-
them run out of energy in the first 15 seconds,
Yeah.
that's when you know, like,
Well,
okay,
the tilito we put on like you can find out, right?
You find out from the stamina, yeah.
Mitch,
yeah.
you were big involved in the scene. You got into these huge concerts with
Yeah.
RDB. I know you've done your share of weddings. You're at your choice now of not being involved. But what do you see as an outsider, or even if you consider yourself like an insider, big difference from when we started together to now? Like in the whole industry, whether it be DJ, DHOL, the wedding industry, because a lot of people who watch actually want to know about a lot of things wedding industry and what we do, right?
Sure. I mean, I just think it's just between then and now, it's just more of everything. People want more lights, more sound, more DHOL players,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, we used to complain when there was 2, 3 of us.
Yeah.
Shit. Now there's 4, 5, 6
Right,
sometimes.
right,
You're like,
right,
what
right,
does
right.
this do? Like, what's
Yeah,
the point?
yeah.
And people just want the imagery of everything now. Whereas then it was about the moment. It was about
The
just
talent
the
more.
talent, right?
Yeah.
And what we brought, people didn't care about, oh, I was coming to the reception or whatnot when I did go to the weddings. It was about, we just knew that this guy was going to come and play,
Yeah.
and I want to hear someone play,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
And I think
yeah,
that's
yeah.
all it was. And now it's like, oh, well, I just want, CO2 cans and all
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
fly down from the ceiling and,
It
like
is.
some crazy thing going
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
And it's just more and more.
Yeah.
That time, this guy alone would like rock the house, and people
Yeah.
like to be like, just hang on just a second.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just- it was like-
People would be,
so
like,
now people
waiting.
get like 2 or 3 guys to play, and compared to just one totally like this
Yeah.
guy would play, and he'd just bring the whole house down. You know?
Yeah, man.
I think there was
it
more
was-
value to it at that
yeah.
time, right? Because
Yeah.
even me being younger, I still knew there was gonna be a totally there. Or like sometimes Raju would be like, "Hey, I have a gig today. You want to go with me?" After practice, I'm like, "Yeah, let's
So
go."
happy.
And then it was just so happy to watch him play. There's so much value, and you can technically tell from the crowd. You can read a crowd, and be like, okay, am I being heard or am I not being heard?
Yeah.
Do they value this or do they not value this? Right.
Right.
Nowadays, I feel like something's missing.
Yeah.
Even like when example like Bangla teams come, right? We used to flock like Dianza College, right? DHOL Players used to be a sold out Bangla competition.
Yeah.
Now you can barely get like half the house full.
Yeah.
Right.
To that point, I mean, let's not forget the fact that when we started, there was only so many of us.
Yeah.
That was there.
Yeah.
So not
True.
every gig had a DHOL player, right? So if there was a DHOL player at a gig, they were like, "Yo, whoa, hold on,
Yeah.
this is gonna be raw."
Right,
Now it's
right,
like
right.
it's
a staple.
It's a standard.
Yeah.
Right.
It was interesting, like what Mitch said. When you see like a Dholi walking in with a bride and groom, I think the attention of like the whole entire venue would be like on this guy, you know, like walking in, and they wouldn't know like bride and groom was walking behind him or not. You know, totally the down.
You keep saying that about me. What about yourself?
Sometimes, like,
Seriously, man.
even when I was playing, and even now when these guys play, like there'll be like a narrow alleyway, and they'll be like, oh, we want the Dholis to come out. I'll be like, nah, man, let's take attention away from you. These guys want to play in the front, which I like because then it's complete attention on the bride and groom. But back then, there was no fucks. You were like right in front of the fucking bride and groom. All you see in the video is your fucking arms.
Dude, that too is only if the Dholi has stamina. He's come with that practice. He's come prepared. You know, that's the only reason somebody will like be like, wow, you know, like this guy just, you know, made the grand entry for the couple.
You know, it's funny, Mitch, you said that there was only a handful of us, but what's crazy now is there's a lot more Dholis, right?
Yeah.
But what's crazy is these guys there's still events happening where they can't get one. Like we say no to people and they're like, we're just gonna cancel the Dholi because we can't find one. Like we started this little band for and you played with us one time in the Bay, right?
Yeah.
But we started this. You were there as a guest. You weren't hired, but you just jumped on with me. Thank God, it was freaking awesome.
It was great.
It was awesome. But the crazy thing is like, there's still people like trying to get Dholis and they can't.
Yeah.
Like. Right, like, and that's what's insane. Like, there's still room for more. I'm not speaking quality. I'm speaking there's more events than there's still.
There's definitely a lot
That's
more.
true.
The
A lot more events
population
these
of
days,
Apne and what we do here has grown
Yeah.
exponentially compared to where we were at back in our time.
Definitely.
But we also got to think about, you know, what's to come, and I think that we're oversaturating the market with the lack of quality, and we're not thinking about what the future holds. So, everybody wants a DHOL player, great. Like let's band together and find like a group or union or whatever it is to say, here's the quality. You got this stamp of approval, you know you're gonna get someone good. You're not just gonna get some Joe Blow, because here's the problem, right? If this is gonna become an income source for anyone, now you're talking about undercutting. How many times did you get called? You get called, right? And somebody would say to you, oh, you know, well, that guy's charging me this much. Why can't you do it for this much? And the response is, well, you're booking me and you're booking this.
Yes.
And I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And if we want to standardize it, there needs to be some sort of togetherness on this.
Right. And that's interesting because another DJ had posted a fucking post on Facebook the other day. Me and Sukhi got involved, and he said, "Hey, Dholis are." What was the post? It was Dholis are changing up the prices last minute on me or something like that. Where, you know, as a DJ myself, you too, when I hire these guys, I ask them what they want.
Yes.
You know, and it shouldn't be a part of the package. You know, they're completely separate, independent artists that are coming to your event.
Talent,
It's never, hey, you're included in me. I'm only giving you X amount. Now you guys choose your value. Mitch, you choose your value. Raju, you choose your value. Whatever you guys want, and if they don't want to pay that, they can kick rocks and go with someone else or just not have someone. But the calling out people on Facebook is really ridiculous for how much they charge. No matter what the given situation, if you're talking about one guy, two guys, don't get everybody involved. Right? Like this specific post was stupid. I've seen it many times before. But they're just like you're in charge of your own value. Dholis are too.
That's very
right?
true.
And respect the Dholi, you know what I mean? And that's a lot of thing. One good thing about the future, I think these guys have a lot more respect now than when we started going in. You know, like there's like, you know, the younger generation now, they're totally here. They got the respect of people like, okay, this guy's talented. You know, whereas we weren't like, this guy, oh shit, you know, like, what is this guy? You know, so, you know, in closing, you know, we've got about 5 minutes left. Just want to ask you guys, what do you guys plan on the future of, what do you guys see? I think we kind of, Sukhi, you kind of made it clear you're still going to keep going. Raju, you're with me. I think everybody wants to know, where's Mitch going to be as a DHOL player? Where is Mitch going? Is he ever going to get back in? Is he going to get back only with bands? Because I know you were linked with some some really big shows you've done in the past internationally. So where are you at, Mitch, going forward?
I mean, truth be told, right, that was one of the reasons why I also took a back step, was because of this lack of respect when it comes to what I believed I deserved, right? So I set a price, people didn't want to pay it, and that's what it is.
Right.
Now, I'm not big-headed or anything like that, it's just, that's a price. If you go to a store and you want to buy a shirt, you can't haggle for that shirt, that's the price you pay, right?
Yeah.
So, look, I'm always there, I'm always willing, it's just, you know, priorities right now are a little bit different. My kids are everything to me. My wife is everything to me.
Yeah.
And I'll always do something when someone needs me, but I think I'm always trying to think about how can we do something at that next level? What's the next thing? Let's not just do, you know, door playing performance or whatever. I mean, let's build some brand and something great. And so you never know, right? I'm always around and something can
So you're open to coming back if the situation is right.
Always.
So we got hope. We gotta make the situation right for this guy. We gotta get him back in the scene. He's that damn fucking good. Raju, where are you standing? You know, is this you gonna? I know you're a DJ just like me, and we talked the other day and say, hey man, so he's still doing it, BPR, and we're gonna keep going until as long as we can, man, because it's a great industry to be in. Playing DHOL and being a DJ is very correlated, because the high you get from the reaction or people or just doing music in general, no drug or substance can get you, right? You know, no matter what the hell you take, you can be completely sober. The high you get, you will get it nowhere else. But where are you at as far as future? Where are you going? Where do you want to be?
You know, I just want to keep on going. I just want to keep on learning new things. You know, seeing the newer generation, and then, you know, I want to continue to like learn from these guys. You know? If they're struggling in some portions, I feel like kind of reaching out to them. We have a group Dholi chat, so like on there sometimes I always feel like posting something about something small, even like a technicality on DHOL, like something technical that somebody can learn. So that's my goal. I mean, I still gig with you. I still gig with Sukhi. He'll call me. You know, I wish this guy played. You know,
we all wish this guy played. You know? Maybe like my birthday fundraiser.
Yeah, you know, we should do something.
Anything for friends.
Yeah, no, but definitely, man. My thing is to, you know, just like Mitch, I have a family. You know, and my priorities obviously we're pretty much similar right now.
Right.
But you know, my thing is just keep on playing. Not so much. Just I rarely play with you guys, my close friends. Yeah. But I want to keep on playing to inspire the younger generation.
Yes.
That's my thing.
And the crazy thing is, you guys all have such a following that inspires so many people. It's unreal. Like, you guys don't know how much impact you guys have had on a younger generation. Not just because of what you guys do.
Definitely. No,
like I go out and about, and I'm going somewhere, and I'm like, they're talking about, I remember when you, Mitch, and Raju used to play this and that. I'm like, whoa, like, you remember back that long? You're like 22 years old, dude. Like,
exactly.
Those are some of the best times.
Those are the best
times I was
times
on stage with this guy.
Oh yeah.
and it's, you know, this guy deserves like posters, man.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, let's be real, right? I mean, the fact that like the things that you did started. I mean, I remember being at a show watching you one time. I was like, God damn, this kid is raw.
He's unreal. Yeah.
It's next level. Man.
No, man.
Same thing with yourself.
Sukhi too, man.
I'm so proud to see what you're doing. And you're not doing what everyone else is doing. You're keeping something traditional, but you're keeping a brand, and you keep educating. And what you're showcasing and the way you do it, and you know, like here's a prime example of stay humble but continue doing the work.
He's a big inspiration for a lot of young people.
And he's doing what he loves, and he's inspiring others, right?
Brilliant job.
Yeah, he can do everything. He can DJ. He plays a tumbi, lagoje, whatever. Pretty much whatever you give him, he can damn do, right?
Like yourself.
Not that much. I'm not as wide. But no, man. Thank you guys so much for coming on. This is gonna be a dope podcast. I think we're gonna get an awesome reaction out of it just because you guys came. You know, it's not much we get together, but having Mitch here, man, you guys already know, man, this is a DHOL ensemble like that. Wish we can play on stage soon.
Definitely.
One day together, that would be awesome. Have Jag with us, and maybe anybody else we have close in our circle. Jag, Jyoti, whoever, anybody else. Those two guys that are in my circle, I know, along with you guys, and maybe Rob, Ruby, Nav, I haven't heard from for a long time. Jag Tar, and I still speak to him regularly. So hopefully we get everybody together. And all you Dholi's out there, the future is bright for you guys. Get in it. Just get in it for the right reasons. Everything else will take care of itself. If you're thinking financially or goals or whatnot, it'll take care of itself. The market is amazing, especially here in Cali. I mean, I don't think we can talk about anywhere else, but Cali, the bigger areas, if you're in Cali, Canada, you know, Toronto, that market's big, but there's a good future for y'all. Just get in it for the right reasons. Everything will take care of itself. Thank you guys so much for being on. Big up Raju, Mitch Hyare, baby, and of course Sukhi. Thank you guys. Make sure you guys follow up on Spotify, Apple Music, and if you want to watch the video and see our pretty faces, we're on YouTube as well. And of course, my SoundCloud, SLAMZ. You guys can check all the episodes there. Thank you. Signing off for now. See you guys next time.